right, everybody, welcome to the We Run With It podcast, hosted by the one and only Tim Murphy, and co-host again, Axel, who's sitting there doing nothing this morning. First guest today, first episode, we have my good friend Chris Monsini, and I wanted him to be the first guest because he's the one that, you could say, pushed me back into running, and Chris kind of gave me the pat in the ass I needed to realize I wasn't working towards my fullest potential, and that's why I wanted to bring him on here today and let him go first, because he always has words of wisdom for everybody, and he always does for me, as he did on our 10-mile run at 4:30 this morning. We had a lot of good talks. So anyways, Chris is father, husband, and CrossFit level 1 coach. Level 1 or 2?
Level 2, buddy.
Level 2, sorry. Discrediting him. And business owner now, new business owner, a couple months now, everything's going well. And Chris, actually, you know what? I was going to go along with the whole intro, but I liked what he said on our run this morning. So I'll start with that. I wanted him to touch upon his most common question as a CrossFit coach, if you remember what your answer was to me this morning.
Yeah, no, dude,
Welcome,
I'd love to talk about it. Thanks for having me, bud. It's a pleasure. Hopefully we look back and we can laugh about it when you blow up and you're killing it, and I'll come back and we can reminisce.
You'll be doing your own.
No, man, I'll be doing this with you. No, honor to be on, honor to sit and talk with you. And, you know, everything you said about, you know, kind of giving you that kick in the ass. You know, it's a pleasure and it's an honor. That's the goal always, is to push forward, right? And you don't do that alone. You're trying to bring people along with you and get people to realize their own potential. And that's, you know, dude, you've definitely done that. And just seeing the progress you've made in general for all the time that I've known you, but more specifically in this last year, is just awesome to see. And I fucking love it. And I'm excited to watch you continue to progress, and it's awesome, dude. Yeah, of course. So we, you know, long run, or decent run this morning. Good talk. Touched on a lot of topics. More specifically, like you just said, the one of the most common questions I get as a CrossFit coach, when people start, you know, they're first getting into it and they're drinking the Kool-Aid, as people say, right?
Yep.
And typically it's after a hard workout and they're, you know, gasping for air or whatever, and they're loving what they're doing and they're feeling good, and they're like, when's this going to get easier, right? And my answer's always been the same. And some people, I can read it on their face. It's not what they want to hear, but my answer is it never gets easier. And that's the truth. The better we get, the stronger, the faster, you know, the more strong-willed you get, the more you demand of yourself, and more you expect of yourself, and more other people expect from you. So therefore you push harder, you're more capable, and you put out more, which in turn makes things harder, right? So it never gets easier. It's constantly getting harder, because you're getting better, hopefully. Yeah. So some people don't like that, but, you know, that's the truth. And once you can accept that and run with it, the limits are, you know, there are no limits, in my opinion, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Chris said it to me. Chris has said it to me before, and he said it to me again this morning, and I loved it, because it's true, and it correlates with us in, like, you know, the running podcast I'm doing, but it's not just, we're not doing it just because I like running now, or necessarily that's my biggest hobby at this point, or what I'm trying to do competitively. It's the lessons that we get out of it, and Chris is always has the wisdom of those lessons while you're doing it, you know? Like, he always looks at me when you can tell him in pain, he just smile, you know, and it just breaks up the workout or whatever's going on. But it is true, the long runs, they don't, like, nothing gets easier because you just start pushing yourself even harder. And that's kind of the purpose of it, is what we were talking about too. you don't do things to get better for it to be easier. You do things just to consistently get better at them. And push yourself to see your limits. It's not even about getting better. It's just pushing yourself. So I wanted him to touch upon that. But
and that whole aspect of smiling, right? I love that. Actually, RJ, a friend of ours,
yeah,
you know, RJ was one of the first people to kind of, and he did this not even on purpose, but he was one of the first people to get me to kind of think that way and realize that, you know, because that guy's always smiling. He's always working hard. You know RJ.
Yeah.
This guy's a beast.
RJ's the best.
And he's so genuine, right? And you know, he's always just get that mentality of like smile on his face, no matter. So it kind of became a thing between him and I of like, you know, hey, this workout's gonna suck. We know it's gonna suck. We're looking forward to it, and it's like, don't forget to smile, like because what the fuck else are you gonna do? You know, you're gonna just dread it, or be like, oh man, I'm feeling sorry for myself. Like, no way, dude. You're in pain, you're hurting, you're suffering. Smile, and it actually does have an effect on you. Like there is I think like Tony Robbins or one of those guys talks about the physiological effect of smiling. Like you can't feel depressed, or I'm not. Nobody quote me on this, but like you can't feel down and all that when you're smiling. Like the act of smiling, it
just does something.
It does. It has that physiological effect on you. So like if you're suffering, smile. Fuck it, bear into it. Lean into it, I should say.
Yeah. Well, it's like when we were running.
I love
this
that.
Point. You ever like been depressed after a run?
No.
Never. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like some people be like, maybe you're just running away your feelings. I'm like, regardless of what I'm doing, I feel better after, so I don't
Absolutely.
care. It's better than, it's better running 10 miles than drinking 10 beers.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, yeah.
It's a win-win. But, anyways, going on, I was going to have you touch upon, obviously, like I said, you were a new business owner, but it's been something that's been on your mind for a while. Just run us through, not necessarily the struggles, but like what it's been like so far in the past 6 months for you, and like what really, and I guess also two-part question, like what finally made you make that decision to be like, you know what, I'm going out on my own, I'm doing this, and I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, which you know a lot of it, but life's funny, right? Life is a collection of experiences, right? So you have all your experiences, and you take the good and the bad, and you try to make something out of it, right? I leaned into my professional career pretty hard over the last 10 years, and I made some significant gains professionally and financially, right? Working my way up the ladder, as you say, or as it's said, and that was the pursuit, right? And along the way, my wife Megan and I built a family, and we have 3 kids, and we have a busy life and all that stuff, and like we're always told, and I'm not taking anything away from this, but like you work hard, you climb the ladder, and you make more money and all this stuff, right? Monetary gain, accolades, whatever. And then, you reach a certain point, at least for me, these are the things that the conclusions that I came to. You reach a certain point or a certain level of financial freedom, if you will, that like, what are we working towards, right? Is it more money that we're after, or is it status, title? Like, what is it, right? And for me, like, I think I always knew it, but like, it's never been about money for me. It's never been about a status of a title or a position. I've worked hard just because it's how I was raised and kind of how I am. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm in it. Like, you go all in, you work hard, and why wouldn't you? make the best of it, right? But anyway, I reached a point where it was like, if we removed all the money, all the elements of money and status, right? What would your life look like, or what would you do differently? You know, what would you focus on? What would you put your energy into? And for me, like, obviously, my health and wellness is a big priority to me and my family. But, like, really, you know, quality of life, spending time with my family, being there for my wife, for my kids, and for my family and friends. But even bigger than that, like, I know I'm kind of veering off track here.
No, you're good.
Like,
it's all part of it.
I reached a point where more money or more status wasn't what is going to serve me. It was more like, I want to build something. I want to take full control of my life. I've done that in all areas of my life, right? My health, my wellness, my my emotional state, my mental state, my marriage, my relationship with my family, like my relationship with alcohol, which we can talk about too, and we've talked about substantially in the past, you and I. But I've taken control of all these areas of my life, you know, with that being the last one. And I don't mean control like my career was out of control. I just mean like I wanted to rely solely on me, right? And I wanted, I don't even know if that's the truth either, because we always rely on other people. But
like, I know where you're.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of build. I wanted to be the one at the helm and build something bigger than myself.
You didn't,
right?
You didn't want to feel controlled by somebody else. You want to feel empowered to make decisions and have your life be controlled by your decisions that you were making.
Yeah, and it's kind of like an experiment as well. Like, what would a business look like with me and my ideas behind it? Like, being the one to build it, with people, good people around me, and implementing the ideas that I have about how things should go and what I think is possible. And, and that's kind of what pushed me to do it. And then obviously having the support system around me, like my wife, like people like you, and other mutual friends that we have. And, like we talked about this morning, that why not mentality. People that are like, yeah, do it. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
And, I'm so grateful that I made the leap. I don't regret it in any way, shape, or form. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing experience, even to the point where we're 3 months in now, and Megan, this was her last week at work.
That's
now
awesome.
she left. She's full-time helping me grow the business and working alongside me to turn it into what we know we're capable of turning it into. So it's been awesome, dude. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes, and where me and you will go also someday. Where do you see the business in 5 years, or like the 3 to 5 year plan?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Amount of guys, I shouldn't say guys, certain amount of workers with you, or what's your goal for that?
Yeah, this might sound a little ignorant. I'm not really thinking 5 years out right now. I'm thinking more of the mindset of like building something of substance, right? And not that there's no timeline on it, but I'm thinking about focusing on building a team, right? Yeah. Not like game force. I don't need a workforce of, 20, 10, 20, 50 people right this second. I need good people, a few good people to really implement the ideas and to establish the type of environment that I want to build, right? And I think having a few key people in the mix that are all in with me, I think the growth will happen naturally. Like, once we continue to build on what we've started. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that's why I asked this question. Like, I knew you would have a good answer.
I guess
not numbers by,
Yeah, I guess 5 years from now, ideally, like, be steady people and maybe more. Yeah. I don't know, but I'm not trying to like blow it up into something crazy right off the bat with a million people. If it happens naturally, great, but it's really about the long term. I'm trying to build something that's sustainable, not something that's, like they say, like a flash in the pan. You blow up fast and furious, and then it fizzles out.
Burn,
yeah.
No, I get it. That's why I asked that question. It wasn't, I guess, a trick question or like how many people you would actually want. I feel like a lot of people you ask that and they're like, I want 100 employees, blah, blah, blah. But I knew your answer would be somewhat more of what I think everyone should go for. It's like organically building a business and not worrying about those numbers and all that stuff, making it a team, making it a family.
Right.
Which I know you will. So I'm excited to see that.
And that's the goal. Like, that's not just the goal in business. You know this well, and we talk in depth about this, but like, that's the same mentality in life. Like, trying to surround yourself with good people, supportive people, people that are going to want to grow with you and want what's best for you and want to grow themselves. You know what I mean? Quality over quantity, right? So
absolutely
same philosophy, just applying that into the business that we're in,
Yeah. No, I hear you. And going on, well, not going on that, but going on what you said about the alcohol thing, I also like your outlook on this because I feel like, and a lot of people, obviously, if there's people listening to this that don't know Chris was never, well, at least when I knew him, Chris wasn't the person, like your typical person that would be like, oh, I'm never drinking again, because he didn't like drink Monday through Friday every night after work. I don't know, obviously I'm not you, but what I saw outside looking at you drank every once in a while, maybe once or twice a month when you made this decision. But it was just like the negative impact that 1 or 2 nights each month made on you. And I think a lot of people need to hear this because I needed to hear this because, again, it was kind of something I lied to myself about for a while too, because we talked about this, but like not that everyone has to stop drinking permanently, but I think everyone should take a break at some point just to see how you feel, and then it gives you a better understanding. But I like Chris's mindset on it because most people that say, oh, this person stopped drinking, it must have been, because they drank 7 nights a week and they were out of control and it was taking over their life. But that wasn't obviously you at all. And just kind of touch upon like your mindset on it and your like why you made that decision. Again, we talked about it this morning, but so it's fresh.
Yeah, definitely touch on that. And again, there's a lot to unpack there that we can't even scrape the surface. But and in full disclosure, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not I don't even know what the term you would use, like an addiction specialist, counselor, a therapist. I'm none of that shit. But
you could be.
I can speak. I can speak to my experiences, right?
Yes, exactly.
And what I've learned along the way, right? I've always struggled with alcohol. I've known it since I was young. I started drinking in early, maybe 12, 13 years old.
Same.
And actually, to sidetrack a second, I heard an interesting statistic the other day listening to an Andrew Huberman podcast.
Yep.
I love that guy. And he said that people who start to drink before like 14, just generally speaking, I think he said before age 14, they tend to, grow up and struggle with alcoholism.
Yeah.
There's at least a stat that he shared. And obviously, there's all sorts of factors in that, genetics and stuff like that. But regardless of all those other factors, underlying factors, like drinking early, tends to become a problem later in life.
Especially if you don't have that good relationship with it. Or like if you're drinking wine once a night, once a week with your family, that's different. But if you're doing, if you're partying in the woods drinking 10 beers when you're 13 years old, it's a little different. Right. We probably weren't taught the right way to drink, if there is a right way.
Exactly. So it just, in general, I mean, I don't demonize alcohol. I have no issue with people drinking alcohol. That's great. I just speaking in general terms, I'm all about like whatever serves you. I encourage people to do what best suits them, right? Yeah. And if a few drinks here and there, social drinking or whatever, if that's, sustainable and that works for you and you enjoy it, and go for it, indulge, obviously.
Again, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm either, like we talked about, I'm either 20 beers or none.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. So as we grow, we realize the things that serve us and the things that don't, right? And I don't know, to put it bluntly, as you get older and wiser, you tend to cut out the bullshit in your life, right? And for me, like I said, I struggled with it always. I said to you this morning, I tried to stop drinking for 10 years, right? And I use air quotes when I say, I tried to stop drinking, because it was always a half-ass, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that or I'm never drinking again and I'll make changes and empty, broken promises. And then Friday comes and it's 85 and sunny and you're like, let's fucking have a few cold ones. Fuck it.
That worked out.
Right. But, you start to figure out the things that serve you and the things that don't. And to put it in a nutshell, I mean, that doesn't serve me. It never did. It did nothing but take away from me, right? I know my personality and my character traits definitely didn't help. I'm a very addictive type of personality, all-in type of person. When I'm doing something, it's all or nothing. What's the point?
Yeah.
Right? So that's why we joked this morning, I'm never having 2 beers.
No.
Why?
No,
if I'm having 2, I'm having fucking 20. What if I'm drinking, I'm drinking to get fucked up.
I'm ruining the night. If I'm drinking,
exactly.
My morning's wasted.
Right. And I'm the type of guy that, if I drank 10 times, 9 out of 10, everything is generally fine.
Yeah.
But the 10th time, I'm waking up in a jail cell, blacked out drunk. What did I do? What did I say? Who did I fucking hit? You know what I mean? I don't mean I've never hit my wife or laid a hand on my family. I just mean drunken bar fights and shit like that.
Yeah, when you were younger.
But I just have no place for it in my life. And not just, talking about the negative stuff, since this December will be 6 years sober, right? Yeah. 6 years, December, I think it's the 17th. I don't know. I get it marked in my calendar, 14th or the 17th or something. But 6 years, and my life in every aspect has gotten exponentially better. I can't even put a measurement on it. My relationships all around, not only, most significantly with my wife, Megan, but my relationships with my friends, my family, my kids, it's just, there's zero downside in my life from stopping.
Yeah.
In my relationship with myself, we talked about it again this morning, but ultimately, I stopped drinking for me, right? Everyone you might think you get to stop for your kids, your wife, your parents or whatever, but like I had to do it, and I did it for myself because that's what I needed to do to be try to be the best version of me, right? And ultimately, that's what's best for all those people that are closest to me. Is they want the best me, right? And they deserve that. So like, that's the driving factor. That's the motive behind it. That's the why, I guess I would say.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think people need to hear that because, like, again, it's always, Chris is always hitting me with some wisdom. As I said, it's sometimes I struggle with the why on a lot of things, not just that. I feel like how he explains that, maybe correlates to a lot of people, or at least to me. So like the why. If you're not doing it for yourself, it is gonna be like you said, those air quotes. I'm quitting, but
right.
you just keep quitting.
Yeah.
You quit, and then next weekend you're like, well, whatever, I'm good, and then it's just a constant beat down, and you're not keeping the promises that you're making to yourself. If you say you're gonna quit something, or say you're gonna in return, or an opposite, if you say you're gonna do something, do it. If you say you're gonna stop doing something, stop doing it.
Right.
But when you keep breaking that promise to yourself, which I did also for probably, I don't know, at least 3 to 4 solid years, and it mentally wears you down, and and again, you're right, it makes you mentally, you become clearer when you stop drinking in that sense, because you keep the promises you make to yourself, you show up for yourself, and then in return that affects everybody around you, in a positive way.
For sure. And it's a tough thing for a lot of people to like accept it, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, but someone like yourself, right? Like you're a good guy. You're a caring, genuine person, right? So like you're a selfless person, right? You want to help people, and you want to do what's best for the people around you. So like it's hard for people with that mentality to do something for themselves all the time, or a lot of the time, I should say.
That's
like
a good point.
Like a classic example, and I'll use my wife, right? One of her, one of the most genuine, caring people, selfless people that there is, and a mother of 3 kids. Like she puts herself last a lot of the time, and because there's needs of the family and the people around you, but like at the end of the day, like you have to prioritize yourself, because if you're not prioritizing yourself and taking care of you, then you can't take care of the people around you. You know what I mean? So like it's a little contradictory the way we think about it, but
be
like
selfish to be selfless, almost
100%. You nailed it. Like you have to be selfish where and when it matters. So that's kind of the that's the mentality there, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. We'll do one more question. And it was kind of a 2-part question. But I mean, one question I have is, what is not necessarily goals, but like where fitness wise, like going forward, what do you see, what's in the works for like in the next year? You gonna do the marathon again?
Yeah.
Or,
that's an ever changing that's in an ever changing state for me, right? Especially, in the past few months, focusing on growing the business and building this, the fitness has lacked, right? It's there, but it's not what it used to be. And it's, I'm not prioritizing that, or I haven't been prioritizing that the way that I normally do or normally would. But no, that's a great question. I'm constantly trying to press forward, right? Take on challenges, do things that are going to test me, push me, in all areas, right? Definitely more marathons, definitely an ultra this year, Yeah, 100%. I'm in for all those things, barring any injury, which, you know, hopefully, knock on wood, you know, staying healthy. I don't even know if I answered your question. Definitely marathons. Definitely the running's never going to stop as long as I'm healthy enough to do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll end on that one, Chris, and I appreciate you coming in. And thanks for waking me up. You know, I'm always like a 5 or 5:30 a.m. guy on Sunday. You know, let myself sleep in a little bit, and then Chris is always.
We got an extra hour of sleep.
Yeah, come on.
It's daylight savings, so
that's true.
You know.
I did get my wish today.
It worked out. Yeah.
But, all right, bud. Thanks for coming, and thanks for getting my ass up this morning.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me. Pleasure. Let's do it again.
Hell yeah. Sounds good. All right, we're out. We'll see ya.